Most people accept the first number a company offers. That's usually a mistake. The first offer is almost never the best offer because companies budget for negotiation before they ever call you. In Fidelity's survey of young professionals, 87% of people who negotiated got at least some of what they asked for. 58% don't even ask. The playbook fits in one sentence. Research 3 or more salary sources, wait for the written offer, counter with a single precise number, and ask about signing bonus or equity when base won't move. Everything in this video is a version of that sentence. Here are exact scripts for 5 situations: the salary expectations question, a competing offer, no leverage, a lowball offer, and equity. Then, what actually happens inside the company after you counter. When a recruiter asks about salary expectations before you have an offer, give a tight researched range or redirect the question. Once an offer is in hand, switch to one precise number. The stage of the process decides the shape of your answer. Early in the process, try this. I'm flexible on compensation and more focused on finding the right role. Could you share the budgeted range for this position? If they insist, name a range about $15,000 wide. A $40,000 spread reads as uncertain, and the recruiter will hear the bottom of it. With an offer in hand, the range goes away. Try this. Based on the scope of this role and comps for it in this market, I'm targeting $145,000 in base. I'm genuinely excited about the team, and I think that's where this should land. A precise number anchors harder than a round one. A real competing offer is the strongest position in salary negotiation, and you can use it without revealing a single number. Try this. I have a competing offer with a stronger equity package. That one sentence makes you a flight risk, and it justifies a counter that goes beyond the usual 10 to 20%. One warning: never invent an offer. A fabricated competing offer that gets caught is one of the few things that genuinely sinks a deal. If you only have one offer, the company doesn't know that unless you tell them. Negotiate on the data instead. No leverage is a feeling, not a fact. If a company decided to hire you, reopening the search costs them real money. SHRM's 2025 benchmarking put the average cost per hire at $5,475 before counting the weeks the seat sits empty. Your case comes from the data, not from a threat. Here's the script. Thank you for the offer. I'm really excited about this role. I've researched market compensation for this position, and based on data from levels.fyi, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn Salary, the range is X to Y for someone with my background. I was hoping we could discuss a base salary closer to Z. Is there flexibility there? If the base is truly stuck, pivot instead of folding. I understand the base salary may be firm. Would there be flexibility on a signing bonus, extra PTO, or equity? Or ask for a formal performance review at the 6-month mark. And always take 48 to 72 hours before you accept. Counter a lowball offer by anchoring to the market range, not to their number. Say the market range for your role is $95,000 to $125,000, and the offer comes in at $100,000. Countering at $115,000 to $120,000 re-anchors the conversation in the upper half of the real range instead of negotiating up from their floor. When they say the offer is firm, that's true about half the time. The other half, it's a tactic. And accepting a lowball offer only moves the problem. You'll be searching again in a year, anchored to a below-market salary. If your counter is declined, ask what else is flexible. That question is an invitation, not a closed door. Equity is often more negotiable than base salary because it doesn't hit the company's immediate cash flow. That's your opening. But know what you're being offered. RSUs are a promise of shares on a schedule. At a public company, they are close to a cash bonus paid in stock. Stock options only pay if the price climbs past your strike price. At a startup, that's not guaranteed. The standard vesting schedule is 4 years with a 1-year cliff. Nothing in year 1, a quarter of the grant at your first anniversary, the rest monthly or quarterly. Amazon backloads it, 5% in year 1, 15% in year 2, then 40% and 40%. Always ask for the specific schedule, not just the total grant. At a startup, ask 4 questions. What is the current 409A valuation? What percentage do I own? Fully diluted. What did preferred stock last sell for? And what is the path to liquidity? If they won't share, that's a red flag. Then the gut check. If the equity ended up worth 0, would you still be happy with the base and the role? Now, the other side of the table. When your counter arrives, the recruiter doesn't feel anything about it. They look it up. Every offer sits inside a payband that was approved before you ever interviewed, with a target and a ceiling. The gap between those two numbers is your negotiating room, and it exists by design. A fast reply means your ask fit inside the band. A slow reply usually means an exception request is sitting in a finance queue, not a rejection. A counter backed by clear market data hands the recruiter the exact language they'll paste into that request. A bigger number alone gives them nothing to argue with. The fear of losing the offer is about 4 times more common than the event. In a Salary.com survey, 87% of employers said they had never rescinded an offer over negotiation, while 19% of candidates believed it happens. What sinks offers is tone, an ultimatum or a fake offer that gets caught. The act of asking is safe. Salary negotiation tools do one of 3 things. They inform you, they coach you, or they negotiate for you. Comp data is free. Levels.fyi, Glassdoor, and PayScale tell you the market range. Done-for-you services take over the conversation. Levels.fyi runs negotiations from $1,250 flat, and Rora and Candor charge a percentage of the increase they win. Coaching tools fix the step most people skip: saying the words out loud before the real call. 4Leaf's negotiation coach plays the recruiter, pushes back like a real one, and scores your answers. $5 for a 5-day pass, or $20 a month. It coaches you to negotiate, it does not negotiate for you. And whichever tool you pick, remember the one stat that matters. The single biggest predictor of a better offer is whether you counter at all. Most candidates do not.